right. Excuse me. All right, so this is my 15-gallon Fluval Flex tank. It's all-in-one, and I got the Fluval light that's got the you can control it with your Bluetooth phone on your phone, and it's got sunrise, sunset ability. So far, so good. Everything seems to be growing pretty well. The only thing I noticed is my sturgeon repens here. I think I'm saying it right, sturgeon repens. It's reaching tall instead of spreading out. And normally that's an indication that the light's not strong enough. So, but everything else is doing really well. I'm running CO2 on this tank. Clearly, you can see the bubbles there. So everything's staying pretty good. I just replanted. I planted some bokeh last week, and they're doing really well. Had zero die off. I had some creeping Charlie, but they were just too big. The leaves were too big, and even just 6 of them in that corner was so crowded you couldn't even see the back wall. And I didn't like the way it looked. In fact, I'm thinking about swapping something else out in this corner because these leaves are kind of big. It looks really cluttered to me. It doesn't look as open as I would like, but I don't know. I might rescape it in the winter, like during Christmas break. In hindsight, I wish I did more of an island. I wish I did some sand, around both sides, the front here, like a horseshoe, with a little island in the middle. I would have used a lot less rock, and I ordered everything and planned it without seeing the tank, because I ordered the tank online, and it just was too crowded. But in hindsight, I think I would like it a little lush in the middle, but more open space, around for viewing and for the fish. Right now, I just have one male beta in here. He's doing really well. He's happy. And I have 7 blue velvet shrimp, but they were babies. I kept them in a separate container for a week, hoping they would get a little larger before I put them in there, because I didn't want my beta to eat them. But I'm hoping they made it into those logs. I put them in when it was semi-dark. And my beta showed interest. He perked up and he went to investigate because he saw the movement. But he didn't seem like he was hunting to eat. He was just curious. So I'm hoping they're in here still. Just haven't seen them much. I think they're spooked because of the beta. But I'm thinking they're in these logs. And there's plenty of places to hide underneath the sturgeon. And there's plenty of foliage and rock and woodwork in here. So, but that's it. I noticed I have about four or five snails. There's one right there by that a check ball, CO2 check. They must have hitchhiked in on one of the plants, and I'm thinking they were eggs, because they just showed up all of a sudden, and they were a little smaller than that when I first spotted them. But they don't seem to be bothering my plants. I'm not noticing them eating anything. I seen them on the plants, and it looks like they were just eating algae off them. I'm hoping they'll get some of this. I got some long hair algae down here. And there's a little bit I noticed on the woodwork here and there. I need to get an auto, maybe. But the tank's only been up for a month. There's a little bit of hair grass on that log there. Tank's only been up a month, so I'm hoping this is part of the cycle. This is my first freshwater planted tank, so I'm not too familiar with the cycle and how long it takes and what happens. But this is it. It's doing pretty well. Oh yeah, I got some floating red root up here at the top. Those roots are red, and they seem to be doing okay. I wanted to give sunshade Some of it seems to be not as lush green as it used to be. But we'll keep an eye on it. I had this in there for a month now. So I did notice some of this had a lot of, see how it's like a big chain. So it's reproducing. I'm not too familiar with it. I don't know if once it reproduces the original parts die off or what, but I haven't noticed anything really dying, but I just noticed a lack of color in some of it, and some of it's like really green. You can kind of see how the stuff on the outer edge is really green, but the stuff is more pale within. Some of it's kind of reddish, so I don't know if that's good, if that's normal, but we'll keep an eye on it. I see. I like it though, because it's not growing out of control, and it's not getting into my filter. And I've pulled it out a couple times and put it in a bucket while I did a water change. This beta is totally awesome. He'll follow my finger when I feed him. He's really, really smart and aware. I wasn't expecting that at all. But he's pretty cool. Anyhow, this is my new tank. Just wanted to show it off. Thanks.